Find balance. It's the mantra of our age. Work life, faith life, hustle rest. The promise? A perfectly calibrated life. We're sold the image of a scale, every part of life in harmony, as if there's a secret formula for peace. This vision is seductive. Who doesn't want to feel in control, present, and fulfilled? But here's the truth. Balance is a myth. Chasing it only leads to exhaustion and the sense that you're always falling short. The more you strive for perfect equilibrium, the more you feel like you're failing at everything. The pursuit of balance is a hamster wheel, endless, tiring, and ultimately unsatisfying. It's time to let go of this impossible standard. Balance isn't the path to peace. It's a source of anxiety. So what should we pursue instead? This essay will show why balance is the wrong goal, and what to chase if you want real clarity and focus. Forget juggling everything perfectly. There's a better, more authentic way to live. Let's find it together. The quest for balance breeds guilt, a constant silent scorecard in your mind. At work, you feel guilty for missing family time. At home, you worry about falling behind at work. The myth says a balanced person would do both, but that's impossible. Even rest becomes stressful, haunted by what you're not accomplishing. Every yes is a no to something else, and every no feels like failure. The result? Regret, second-guessing, and never feeling at peace with your choices. We see others managing it all, but it's just an illusion. Everyone struggles, some just hide it better. It's time to stop pretending. The goal isn't to juggle better, it's to step out of the circus. Let's stop chasing balance and start living with intention. Guilt fades when you stop measuring yourself against an impossible standard. There's a new way forward. Balance assumes life can be divided into neat, equal parts. Work, family, health, self. We color-code calendars, hoping the right formula will bring peace. But life isn't a static equation, it's messy and unpredictable. Plans crumble when a child gets sick or a crisis hits. The idea of equal weight for everything denies the reality of shifting priorities. Life unfolds in seasons, not perfectly balanced days. Sometimes work needs your all, sometimes family does. Trying to split everything evenly is not just impossible, it's counterproductive. You're not failing at balance. Balance is failing you. The standard is impossible because life is beautifully chaotic. Instead of forcing symmetry, learn to flow with life's rhythms. Focus deeply where it matters most in each season. That's wisdom, not imbalance. The appeal of balance is really about control. We want to believe we can schedule away chaos, that discipline will keep life tidy. But control is mostly an illusion. Life is defined by surprises and interruptions. You can plan every minute, but you can't plan for the unexpected. These disruptions are life itself. Rigid frameworks make us brittle and resentful when reality intrudes. The myth of balance pits our ideal life against real life, making every interruption feel like failure. True peace comes from adapting, not controlling. Build resilience, not rigidity. Life is a river, not a fortress. Learn to steer, not to dam the flow. Balance will always be out of reach because total control was never possible. The goal is to find your footing in the chaos, not eliminate it. Balance is really about constant compromise, never giving anything your full attention. You're always split, never fully present, and it's exhausting. The best moments in life come from deep focus, not divided attention. Balance demands you pull back, check the clock, and never immerse yourself. You become a jack-of-all-trades, master of none, never truly savoring anything. Every yes is tinged with anxiety about what you're missing elsewhere. This endless mental calculus is draining. It leads to mediocrity by design, present enough to get by, but never to truly connect. We're not built for constant compromise, we're built for depth and passion. Fulfillment comes from pouring yourself into what matters most right now. That nagging sense that something's off, it's your intuition. A fragmented life isn't a fulfilling one. Let's stop slicing ourselves thin, choose depth over balance. The modern ideal of balance is not just an internal standard, it is a public performance fueled by the relentless engine of social media. We scroll through feeds filled with curated highlight reels that present a flawless illusion of equilibrium. We see the fitness influencer who seems to have a perfect physique while also running a thriving business and raising 3 happy children. We see the CEO who posts about their morning meditation, their productive workday, and their gourmet home-cooked dinner all in the same day. These images create an impossible benchmark, a vision of having it all that feels both aspirational and deeply intimidating, making us question our own efforts. This sets up an unwinnable game of comparison. We measure our messy, behind-the-scenes reality against someone else's polished, public-facing highlight reel. We see their apparent success in juggling everything and feel our own inadequacy more acutely. We wonder, why can't I be that organized? Why am I so tired when they seem so energetic? What am I doing wrong? This external pressure amplifies the internal guilt we already feel. The myth of balance is no longer just a personal goal. It becomes a competitive sport, and we feel like we are losing badly. This constant social comparison is a direct path to burnout and diminished self-worth. The truth is, this curated perfection is a facade. Nobody is actually achieving this mythical state of perfect balance, at least not in the way it is portrayed. The reality behind the screen is one of trade-offs, sacrifices, and immense support systems that are often invisible to the public eye. The influencer may have a team of assistants, a full-time nanny, and a personal chef. The CEO might be sacrificing their sleep or be on the verge of a breakdown, but we do not see the trade-offs. We only see the triumphant result. We are comparing our entire complex life to a single, carefully framed snapshot of someone else's, a comparison that is fundamentally unfair and misleading. This is why the pursuit of balance feels so wrong. It forces us to judge ourselves against a standard that does not even exist in reality. It traps us on a treadmill of striving, where the finish line is a mirage that keeps moving further away the harder we run. The feeling of falling short is not a reflection of your inability to manage your life. It is a reflection of the fact that you are playing a rigged game. To find peace, we must first quit the game. We must stop looking outward for validation and start looking inward for clarity, defining success on our own terms, based on our own values and seasons, not on the impossible, airbrushed ideals of others. If the frantic pursuit of balance leaves you feeling scattered and fragmented, the solution is not to try harder at juggling. The solution is to put the balls down and pick up a compass instead. What you are truly searching for is not balance, but alignment. This represents a profound shift in thinking. Instead of trying to give equal energy to 10 different things, you learn to channel all your energy in one powerful, intentional direction. Imagine a river that has been dammed up and diverted into a dozen small, weak trickles. That is the life of someone chasing balance. Now, imagine removing those dams and allowing the river to flow with its full, concentrated force. That is the power of a life lived in alignment, moving with purpose and undeniable momentum. Alignment means you stop measuring your life in hours and start measuring it in meaning. It is the practice of ensuring that your daily actions are a direct reflection of your deepest held beliefs and priorities. It is about creating a seamless connection between who you are and what you do. When your life is aligned, your values are no longer just abstract concepts you think about once a year. They become the very blueprint for how you build your days. Your priorities cease to be a long, overwhelming list of shoulds and instead become a short, clear guide that dictates where you invest your most precious resources, your time, your focus, and your emotional energy. This creates a synergy where your life feels whole, not compartmentalized. This shift from a scattered existence to a focused one brings an incredible sense of clarity. You no longer wake up feeling pulled in a million different directions, wondering what you should tackle first or if you are making the right choices. When you are aligned, you possess an inner knowing, a quiet confidence that you are on the right path. Decisions become simpler because you have a clear filter through which to run them. Does this opportunity align with my core values? Does this commitment move me closer to my most important goals? If the answer is no, the decision is made for you. This clarity cuts through the noise of modern life, acting as an internal guidance system that keeps you steady. The result is not a life free from challenges, but a life free from the exhausting internal conflict of being at odds with yourself. You are no longer fighting against your own nature or sacrificing your integrity for the sake of keeping up appearances. Instead of your energy being drained by constant internal negotiations and guilt, it is consolidated and directed toward what truly matters. This is the difference between frantically treading water to stay afloat and powerfully swimming toward a specific shore. Alignment doesn't eliminate the waves of life, but it gives you the strength and direction to navigate them with purpose and grace, transforming chaos into a focused, meaningful journey. Living an aligned life begins with a single, foundational task: identifying your non-negotiable core values. These are not just nice-sounding words like honesty or kindness. They are the fundamental principles that define who you want to be. Think of them as the deep, sturdy roots of a massive tree. A tree with shallow roots can be pushed over by the first strong wind, just as a person without clear values can be easily swayed by external pressures, fleeting trends, and the expectations of others. But a tree with deep roots stands firm, grounded, and unshakable, no matter how fierce the storm. When you are deeply connected to your values, you are not easily scattered or thrown off course, because you are anchored to something solid and unchanging. Your values become the ultimate compass for your life. In any situation, when you are faced with a decision big or small, this compass points you toward your true north. It helps you navigate the complex terrain of opportunities and obligations with confidence. For example, if family connection is a core value, it becomes easier to decline a work event that conflicts with your child's school play. The decision is not a painful sacrifice, but a simple act of alignment. If creativity is a core value, you will instinctively carve out time for your art, not because you are trying to balance your schedule, but because expressing your creativity is as essential as breathing. Your values provide the why behind your choices. This process requires you to move beyond what you think your values should be and to uncover what they truly are. It demands honest self-reflection. What truly brings you a sense of purpose? When do you feel most alive and authentic? What principles would you refuse to compromise, even if it were difficult? Answering these questions helps you distinguish between the values imposed on you by society, family, or your career, and the ones that resonate deep within your soul. This is not a one-time exercise, but an ongoing relationship with yourself, continually checking in to ensure that your life's direction still aligns with your internal compass, which may even evolve over time. Once you are clear on these core principles, you can begin the practical work of building a life around them. Your calendar stops being a list of obligations and starts becoming a testament to your values. You schedule time for what matters most first, not last. Your relationships deepen because you invest in the people who align with and support your core principles. Your work becomes more meaningful because you seek out roles and projects that resonate with your purpose. This is the essence of alignment. It is the conscious and deliberate act of designing a life where your external world becomes a mirror of your internal truth, creating a powerful sense of integrity and wholeness. The ultimate reward of an aligned life is not a perfect, calm, or problem-free existence. The world will still be chaotic, demands will still arise, and unexpected challenges will still appear. The true reward is a deep and unshakable sense of peace. This is not the peace that comes from an empty schedule or a lack of stress. It is the peace that comes from clarity, the profound and quiet confidence of knowing you are doing the right thing at the right time for the right reasons. It is the peace that settles in your soul when you know that your actions are a direct expression of your deepest self, regardless of the external circumstances you may be facing. Consider the focused calm of a soldier meticulously cleaning their gear before a mission. Their environment may be tense and uncertain, but their actions are clear and purposeful. Or think of a parent who puts their phone away to be fully present while reading a bedtime story to their child. The world outside that room is still buzzing with notifications and responsibilities, but in that moment, they are aligned with their value of connection, and that alignment brings a powerful sense of peace. This is the state we are all seeking. It is not about silencing the noise of the world, but about finding the one clear note of our own purpose and holding on to it with conviction. When you live in alignment, you are freed from the exhausting burden of second-guessing your choices. You no longer waste precious mental and emotional energy wondering if you are doing it right or if you should be doing something else. You know that in this particular season of life, pouring 80% of your energy into your new business or into caring for an ailing parent is not a sign of imbalance. It is a sign of deep love and commitment. You can say no to good opportunities without guilt because you are protecting your yes for the great opportunities that truly align with your mission. This internal certainty is the bedrock of genuine lasting peace, so you can stop chasing the fleeting and fragile peace that comes from trying to control everything. That approach will always leave you feeling anxious and one step behind. Instead, you can choose the resilient and profound peace that comes from clarity. This peace is born from knowing your why. It comes from understanding that your life is not a random collection of tasks to be juggled, but a meaningful story that you are writing, one aligned choice at a time. It is the quiet confidence that even in the midst of life's storms, you are steering your ship with a steady hand, guided by the unwavering light of your own internal compass. Understanding the concept of alignment is the first empowering step, but true transformation happens when we translate that understanding into tangible daily actions. Moving from the exhausting pursuit of balance to the grounded practice of alignment is not an overnight change, but a series of deliberate shifts in mindset and behavior. It requires us to unlearn the deeply ingrained habits of juggling and people-pleasing, and to consciously adopt new ways of thinking about our time, our energy, and our commitments. This is where the theory of alignment becomes a lived reality. It is the practical application of the compass we have rediscovered, the moment we stop admiring the map and start taking the first confident steps on the path it reveals. This part of our journey is about the how, the specific, actionable changes that build a life of integrity and purpose. The journey toward an aligned life is built upon 3 fundamental shifts. These are not complex strategies or rigid rules, but powerful reorientations of perspective that will fundamentally change how you interact with the world and your own life. Each shift acts as a stepping stone, moving you away from chaotic fragmentation of the balance myth and toward the integrated wholeness of an aligned existence. They are designed to free you from the guilt of not doing enough and empower you to find deep satisfaction in doing what matters most. By embracing these shifts, you will begin to feel a profound sense of control, not over the uncontrollable chaos of the world, but over your own choices, your own focus, and your own peace of mind. The first shift involves redefining your relationship with time, moving from a rigid mathematical division to a fluid intentional allocation. The second focuses on the art of decision-making, learning to wield the power of your yes and no with purpose and conviction, guided by your core values. The third and final shift redirects your ultimate goal, moving away from the elusive chase for external peace and toward the cultivation of internal clarity. Together, these 3 shifts form a powerful framework for building a life that feels authentic, focused, and deeply resonant with who you are. They are the practical tools you need to stop living by default and start living by design, creating a legacy of purpose one aligned day at a time. As we explore each of these shifts, remember that this is a process of practice, not perfection. There will be days when the old habits of balance-seeking creep back in, and that is okay. The goal is not to execute these shifts flawlessly, but to return to them as your guiding principles, your true north. They are not another set of impossible standards to live up to, but a compassionate and effective way to lead yourself back to what is most important. Let's begin the practical work of dismantling the scaffolding of balance and building the solid, unshakable foundation of an aligned life, starting with how we view our most precious and finite resource, our time. So the first and honestly most critical shift is to completely abandon the idea that you must give equal time to every area of your life. The balance myth has really sold us a lie that a good life is a perfectly proportioned life, where the pie chart of our time is divided into neat, even slices for work, family, health, and hobbies. This kind of framework just forces us into a constant, exhausting battle with the clock, right? We're always trying to shave off 15 minutes here to add them there, and always feeling like we're robbing one part of our life to pay another. It's a rigid, unforgiving system that doesn't account for the natural ebb and flow of life's demands. To live in alignment, we actually have to release this notion and embrace a new model: intentional time. Intentional time means recognizing that life unfolds in seasons, and each season has its own unique demands and priorities. For example, a parent with a newborn will naturally enter a season where their time and energy are overwhelmingly dedicated to their family. This isn't some kind of imbalance. It's a beautiful and necessary alignment with the most critical need of that moment. Similarly, an entrepreneur in the first year of a startup will likely be in a season of intense professional focus, requiring long hours and immense dedication. Trying to force a 50-50 work-life split during this period would not only be impractical, but it would also sabotage the very goal they are working toward. Alignment gives you permission to go all in where you are needed most. This shift really requires you to stop asking, "How can I split my time evenly?" and start asking a more powerful, clarifying question: where does my time need to match my values most right now? This question anchors your time management in your core principles, not in some arbitrary external standard. It's a weekly and sometimes even daily check-in with your internal compass. And the answer will change depending on your season. This week, your value of health might require you to dedicate more time to rest and recovery. Next month, your value of community might call you to invest more time in a volunteer project. This is not imbalance. It's a dynamic, responsive, and deeply intentional way of living. Embracing intentional time frees you from the guilt of not being everywhere at once. It lets you be fully present where you are, knowing that you've made a conscious choice to be there. When you're at the office, you can focus deeply, knowing this season demands it. When you're home, you can be fully engaged, knowing you are honoring your values. This approach replaces the anxiety of the clock with the peace of purpose. It's the understanding that a well-lived life isn't measured by the even distribution of hours in a day, but by the meaningful alignment of those hours with the deepest callings of your heart in each unique season of your journey. The second essential shift on the path to an aligned life involves transforming your relationship with the word yes. In our culture, saying yes is often seen as a sign of being capable, ambitious, and helpful. We're conditioned to say yes to new projects at work, yes to social invitations, yes to requests for our time and energy, often out of a fear of missing out or a desire to please others. But honestly, the unexamined yes is one of the greatest enemies of an aligned life. When you say yes to everything, your time and energy become a resource for everyone else's agenda, not your own. If every opportunity and request is treated as equally important, then, in reality, nothing is truly important. Living in alignment requires you to adopt a new philosophy. Say yes to less so you can show up more fully for what truly matters. This means your yes becomes a precious and powerful resource, reserved for the opportunities, relationships, and commitments that are in direct alignment with your core values and your current season's priorities. It's a move from a scattered, reactive approach to a focused, proactive one. Instead of your life being dictated by the endless stream of incoming requests, you become the gatekeeper of your own time and energy, making conscious, value-driven decisions about where to invest yourself. This isn't about being selfish, it's about being strategic with your life force. This shift is impossible without embracing its necessary counterpart, the powerful and purposeful no. For many of us, saying no is incredibly difficult. It can feel like we're letting someone down, closing a door on an opportunity, or being uncooperative. But in the context of alignment, a no is not a negative act, it's a positive affirmation of your priorities. Every time you say no to something that is not aligned with your core mission, you are saying a resounding yes to something that is. Saying no to an extra committee at work means saying yes to protected family time. Saying no to a social event that would drain you means saying yes to the rest and rejuvenation your body needs. This practice really requires courage and clarity. You must be so clear on what you are saying yes to that saying no to everything else becomes simpler. It's helpful to have a personal mission statement or a short list of your top 3 priorities for the current season. When a new opportunity arises, you can filter it through this lens. Does this move me closer to my most important goals? Does it align with my core values? If not, the no becomes a logical and necessary choice, not an emotional struggle. This deliberate use of yes and no is how you take back control of your life and begin to build a schedule that is a true reflection of what you hold most dear. Learning to deliver a purposeful no is one of the most liberating skills you can develop toward alignment. A purposeful no is not harsh, dismissive, or apologetic. It's a calm, clear, and respectful statement of your boundaries. It comes from self-respect and deep understanding of your capacity and priorities. When you say no from this place, you're not rejecting a person. You're declining a request that doesn't fit the life you are intentionally building. This distinction is crucial. It preserves relationships while protecting your valuable resources. An aligned no honors both yourself and the other person by being honest and direct. Many struggle with saying no because we feel the need to provide elaborate justification. We over-explain, apologize profusely, and try to soften the blow, which invites more negotiation. A key part of this shift is learning that no can be a complete sentence. A simple, gracious refusal is all that is needed. Thank you for thinking of me, but I'm not able to take that on. That sounds wonderful, but I'll have to pass as my focus is elsewhere. These are respectful and firm. They communicate your decision without opening debate or making you feel guilty. Boundaries do not limit your life, they define it. Think of the banks of a river. Without them, water spreads out into shallow, stagnant marsh. The banks give the river direction, depth, and power, allowing it to flow with purpose. Your no serves as the banks of your life. It channels your energy, your time, and your focus toward what matters most, preventing dilution and ineffectiveness. When you set clear boundaries, you're not pushing people away. You're creating space to show up as your best self for commitments you've said yes to. Your boundaries protect your ability to contribute meaningfully. Every no in alignment with values is an act of integrity. It's where your actions line up with your intentions. While uncomfortable at first, each purposeful no strengthens your self-trust and reinforces commitment to an aligned life. People will understand and respect your boundaries over time because they'll see positive results. a person more present, more focused, and more joyful, because no longer stretched thin by conflicting obligations. The power of a purposeful no is the power to create a life not just full, but fulfilling. The final and perhaps most profound shift is to reorient your ultimate goal. For years, the self-help world has told us to chase peace. We imagine peace as a tranquil state of being, a life free from stress, conflict, and overwhelming demands, a calm, still lake. But this vision of peace is a fragile one, easily shattered by the inevitable storms of life. A single difficult phone call, an unexpected bill, or a stressful week at work can make this idyllic peace feel hopelessly out of reach. Chasing this kind of external peace is often a recipe for disappointment, as it depends on circumstances being perfect. The third shift asks you to stop chasing peace and start choosing clarity instead. Clarity is a more resilient, more powerful, and more attainable state of being. Clarity is the deep internal knowing that you are on the right path, even if the path is rocky. It is the unwavering confidence that comes from your actions being in perfect harmony with your core values and your identity. Peace is an external condition. Clarity is an internal conviction. A life guided by clarity can feel peaceful even in the midst of chaos, because the internal turmoil of doubt, guilt, and second-guessing has been silenced. You're no longer asking, "Am I doing enough?" or "Am I making the right choice?" You know the answer, because your choices are rooted in the solid ground of who you are. To cultivate clarity, you must change the fundamental question you ask yourself. The question of the balance seeker is, how do I juggle it all? This question presupposes a life of frantic, exhausting multitasking. The question of the alignment seeker is, what would it look like to live in alignment this week? This question is empowering. It invites you to be a conscious designer of your life, not just a manager of its chaos. It prompts you to look at your calendar, your to-do list, and your relationships through the lens of your values. It's a practical, forward-looking question that focuses on intentional action rather than reactive coping. Choosing clarity means doing the inner work first. It means taking the time to define your values, identify your priorities for the current season, and get honest about what truly matters to you. With this clarity as your foundation, you can then build a life that reflects it. Your goals will no longer be arbitrary benchmarks but meaningful milestones on a purposeful journey. Your decisions will feel less like stressful trade-offs and more like simple acts of integrity. This is the source of a deeper, more abiding peace, the kind that cannot be shaken by external circumstances because it is generated from within. It's the peace of knowing you are living a life that is truly your own. For too long you have been told that the path to a successful and fulfilling life is a delicate, precarious tightrope walk. You've been instructed to juggle, to pivot, to constantly adjust and recalibrate in a never-ending quest for perfect balance. This pursuit, though well-intentioned, has likely left you feeling exhausted, perpetually behind, and haunted by a quiet sense of failure. The constant effort to give every part of your life equal attention is a recipe for burnout, not breakthrough. It scatters your energy, divides your focus, and ultimately robs you of the deep satisfaction that comes from wholehearted commitment. Chasing balance will not bring you peace. It will only burn you out, leaving you depleted and wondering why your best efforts never feel like enough. But there is another way. By letting go of this flawed ideal, you can step off the tightrope and onto solid ground. The alternative is not a different kind of juggling act, but a completely different way of moving through the world. It is the path of alignment. Instead of scattering your energy in a dozen different directions, you can channel it into a single, powerful flow. Living an aligned life does not mean your life becomes easy or free of challenges. It means your life becomes integrated. It means you are no longer at war with yourself, torn between conflicting priorities. An aligned life is one where you are built up, not worn down, because your daily actions are a direct reflection of your deepest values. This is your permission slip to take the immense pressure off your own shoulders. You were never meant to be a master juggler, flawlessly keeping every plate spinning without a wobble. You don't have to be perfect at everything, all at once. That is an impossible standard created by a culture that glorifies the appearance of having it all together. Your true calling is not to be perfect, but to be faithful. You're called to be faithful to the right things, the things that align with your unique purpose, your core values, and the specific demands of the season you are in right now. This is a far more gracious and attainable goal. The freedom in this shift is profound. You can finally stop the frantic side-to-side shuffle of trying to please everyone and meet every expectation. You can stop measuring your worth by how much you can handle and start measuring it by the integrity of your focus. The goal is no longer to be a master of the circus act. The goal is to simply walk in a straight line, guided by the clear and steady light of your own internal compass. This is not about finding a magic formula for an easy life, but about discovering the focused power of a life lived with unwavering, authentic purpose. Embracing alignment is not about orchestrating a massive, instantaneous overhaul of your entire existence. It begins with a single, quiet moment of reflection, followed by one small, intentional choice. It starts by asking yourself a simple yet powerful question that cuts through the noise and complexity. What is one area of my life that feels out of alignment right now? Perhaps your career has drifted away from the sense of purpose you once had. Maybe your health has been placed on the back burner for far too long. It could be that your most important relationships are receiving only the leftover scraps of your time and energy, not the best of you. Identifying this single area is not an exercise in self-criticism, it's an act of compassionate awareness. It's the first step in reclaiming your life and steering it back toward your true north. Once you have that clarity, the next step isn't to create a grand, complicated plan. The next step is simply to ask, what is one small thing I can do this week to bring that area back into alignment? The answer does not need to be dramatic. It could be scheduling a 30-minute walk, saying no to one small request that drains you, or dedicating one evening to a focused, uninterrupted conversation with a loved one. This is how true, lasting change is made, not through giant, unsustainable leaps, but through small, consistent, and faithful steps. Each small action taken in alignment with your values builds momentum. It reinforces your commitment to yourself and strengthens your alignment muscle. Over time, these small, faithful steps accumulate, creating a powerful trajectory that fundamentally reshapes your life. You did not drift out of alignment overnight, and you will not build a new foundation in a day. The process is a gentle, steady walk, not a desperate sprint toward an imaginary finish line. It's a practice of returning again and again to what matters most. The journey away from the lie of balance and toward the truth of alignment is the most important work you can do. It's the path to a life that feels not just productive, but peaceful, not just full, but fulfilling. It is your invitation to stop juggling and start living with intention. So take a deep breath. Release the need to be everything to everyone. Look inward, find your compass, and take the first small step on your own straight line. Your most authentic, powerful, and peaceful life is waiting for you, one aligned choice at a time.